Well, good morning. Wanted to give you some information that I thought would be helpful as you move from the 5-module IT core to the main part of the web development class. There are videos connected to this part that are going to be similar to what I'm saying, but I wanted to give you a chance to ask questions. And I can see a few people are part of this presentation this morning. Some more may log in. And if we need to do another one, we can. After you see this, either face-to-face, like right now as you're watching online, or if you watch the recording later after I email it to you, if you have questions, email me what you don't understand. And if I can clarify through emails or phone calls, great. If not, then we could have another one of these presentations and try to choose another time of the day. This seemed to be the best for most people, even though it's hard to choose a time that works for everyone. But anyway, moving right along. I try to make these last maybe a half an hour. I try not to take any more of your time than that. Anyhow, the list of things that I wanted to look at with you this morning, as you look at the area here, let's see, we've got the first thing I want to look at is D2L, Web Development Section 2. That's where we're going to start out. So let's just go to that. I'm going to get rid of this for a moment. And when you log in now, you probably noticed, I've mentioned this to several people, and every time I mentioned it, someone said, yeah, I saw it. So hopefully whoever you are sitting there watching, you've noticed it too. When you log in, there are two areas. There is, now mine, there's several, you can see because of different classes I've been involved with. But you used to have one that said IT Core, and now you have one that says Web Development Journey in August 2015 CC. Okay, so when you log in, of course, that's where you want to be. And then once you've logged in, to get the information for this part of the class, go under Content, click on the Content button. And then once you've done that, come back, go down here where it says Web Development Section 2. That's where we want to click on that. And then the next thing we want to do is come back, and you want to click here where it says Photoshop Reveal CC. That's the textbook. Now, a lot of you are using the Photoshop Reveal CC book. A few of you are using the Photoshop Reveal CS6 book. These instructions are the same no matter which book you're using. So if you say, well, I don't have that, it's not an issue. All right, so I'm going to click there. And this is where throughout the class you'll find additional information, because I find that people send me an email, well, I don't understand. Where's this? It's right here. So click on Photoshop Revealed, and this page explains a picture of the book. Now, this is the most current book. Like I said, some of you may be using CS6. That's not an issue. Read through here. Don't go, oh, there's nothing there to look at. No, this is explaining the class. If you're an adult, you're a part-time adult, then, or a full-time adult, whatever, you will, when you bought your book, you should have received an access card. And the access card looks like this. And there's a number that you need to work with, and it is right here on this access card. Now, right now it says access code area. That's not what it says on your access card. It should say on your access code, it should have a number. And what you'll do, they explain here, go to this Engage website, and this is how you set up your account. High school students, I've already done that for you because we provide, the school provides the books to high school students, but for adults, we don't. That's the way it works. All right, so you can see, as you continue through here, once you've logged in, you're going to get a page that looks something like this. And once you've logged all the way in, you're going to hit a page that looks like this. And then this explains more about the class. See, so just read everything. And, but just to show you, let's go here. It says Cengage Data Files. Okay, if you click there, what that's supposed to do on a good day is take you to the Cengage area where you can set up your account. Now, if you see a page that is totally blank, like this. All you see is perhaps a little shape up here. You're at the right place, but what you're going to need to do is scroll the page up or down a little bit. Let's see what we're going to need. Okay, there we go. See where it is? So you just have to scroll around, and it should be there. To register a product, the book, if you're an adult, you'll put in that code from the access card here to set up your account. If you've already got your account set up, or if you're a high school student set up, to log in, you'll just put your email address, and for high school students, whatever your D2L password is, that's what this password will be too. I made sure it was the same thing. For adults, once again, you're setting up yourself. Now, you could use your D2L password to set up your account if you like. But anyway, once you get it through here and you've logged in, the next thing you're going to see is a page that looks similar to this. Not exactly, but similar. This is the teacher instructor page. But you should see a book cover. And if you're using the older book, you'll see the older book picture here. If you're using the newer book, the CC book, you'll see this one. And you'll see a couple areas that says open. And one is course mate, and the other is Mind-Tap Reader. The one, and let's go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And what you're going to see is, I'm going to take a survey, maybe not the best time. All right, so once you get to this page, here's Chapter 1 of Photoshop. The main things you're going to be interested in, your data files are right here. Data file. Okay. Because I know the scrolling takes a while for the image to be clear, but your data files will be right here. And then that's where you're going to click. You'll click here to download the files to your computer. I'll click there. Okay, here's the data files, and then I'll click, and it's going to download those files to my computer. Okay? So, wherever your files download to, then you can move them to your desktop, whatever you want. Then, once you've done that, it's time to work with the book. Now, you can, all this other stuff, Chapter E book, there is an online copy of the book, and there's the paperback copy of the book. Whichever one you want to use is fine. And I'm going to explain the paper book, and then you get the digital book is similar. You can look at all this information. The main thing I'm concerned about, download your data files, and once you've worked through a chapter in the Photoshop book, then come back and do the quiz. The quiz is right here. Okay. Take a screenshot of the quiz once you've got your grade, and what you're shooting for is 70% of that. Okay. That's what we're shooting for. So when you've downloaded this data file folder, let's go. I'm going to go look in my download area, and I will, let's see where that is. Here it is, Chapter 1, and here are the files that come with that. So when these are the files, when it says open the file in the textbook, these are the files that you download for Chapter 1 that you're going to open. Okay, so I'm just going to put that back. Now, let's see what the paper book looks like. Let's see where we're at here with everything. Okay, we get that. And let's go right here. Okay, so here's a copy of the paper book. Okay, so we want to go to Chapter 1. I'm going to go here, and of course this works a little different. This is a digital copy of the book I have. Read through the pages. I'm going to go to Chapter 1, just like you would in your paper book. That's Chapter 1. And then as you go through, read the information. All this is good. All the pages here that you see with a white background, this is giving you general overview information. It's important information, so don't skip anything. Don't go, oh, I don't have to look at that. You do want to look at it. But when you get to the gold bar, see the gold bar on the page here. This is important. This is where your actual directions are, right here, for what you need to work on in the book. Now, it starts out explaining how to work with the software on the PC, and then they have a page explaining how to do that with a Mac. Okay, so I'm going to go on over here a little further. Let's click the next one. Here's how to open it up on a Mac. Now, you may say, well, where's the software? If you're a high school student, your school has already loaded the software on your computer. If you don't see it, go talk to your Media Center person, whoever's the director of your Media Center. Talk to them and say, I can't find Photoshop on a computer. Can you help me? And they will help you. Okay? I had one student was looking for the software the other day, and I contacted the Media Center person, and they said, sure, they'd be happy to help. So that's what you want to do. As an adult, if you don't have the software, what do? If you already have the software, you should be using the CC version of the software. But I know some of you folks have the CS6 version because you're working in the industry and you're a graphic designer or something similar, and you have CS6, you can use that. That's fine. You're all set. You'll use the CS6 book. But if you're somebody new to all this and you don't have any software, go to the Adobe website. And when you go to the Adobe website, let's see, let me see if I can get us there. Well, let me just share a couple of things more before we leave this. All right. So that showed you a couple things more. Overview, 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 overview. Here we go. It says here, click opening a file using the menu bar. Click File on the menu bar and then click Open. Click the Look and List arrow for a Windows machine or the current file location list for Mac. Anyhow, once you go to File, Open in Photoshop, that's the file right there that you want to open. So when you open it, it's going to tell you to do things with it. So zoom in, zoom out, different things. Okay, the first chapter or two in Photoshop, you don't do a lot, but still open the file. And if it tells you to close it without saving it, don't do that. Go ahead and save it, maybe give it a new name. You might say Bob's Work, Chapter 1 or something. Give it a name so that I can see what you've opened and worked with it and that sort of thing. A lot of times they'll give you a name. They'll say open a file and they'll save as to give it a new name so that you still have the original. One thing we didn't look at is if you have any questions so far before I get further. Over here on the left part of this whole thing is an area where there's a smiling face. There's a place where you can, if you need to leave once you're here, to let me know. There's a hand tool, and then there's a yes/no area. If you will, if you have a question at this point, would you go ahead and click on the raised hand? Well, let's just do that for a test. If you can hear me and hear what I'm saying and everything, please go ahead and just click on that little hand so I know that you can hear what I'm saying. Okay. So you're okay. So Brandy's got her hand up. Tamar, can you hear me? Could you? I know Bob could, and Tom. I talked to them earlier. Tamar, can you hear me? Either put your hand up or at the very bottom, click in the little window. Come on, good job. Okay, all right. Because there's no point in doing this. You can. There's no point in doing this if you can't hear me. Okay, and I will send you a recording, but that's good. Okay, now if you have any questions along the way, because sometimes I get going in, so I try to remember to ask if anybody has questions. But if I get going, put your hand up. You know, if you have a question on something, if I'm going along and you don't quite understand it. Okay, so here's where you would open the file. So you would be looking at your book, probably a paper book, and you'd say, open this file. So you would open it in Photoshop. Now, the one thing, and that's going to be throughout, so you're going to have different files, and I'll show you a couple other things. Here's another page where they're asking you to do things. Okay. Now, some of the things have changed in the book. So in your data files area, that one place where we were, let's see, and here, let's see, is there anything major here? Sometimes they'll have information about something's changed or whatever in here. I don't see anything at this point. Keep in mind too, when you want to go to the next chapter information, you can click right here, that little arrow, and that will take you to the next chapter. Or you can click in the chapter list and see all the chapters at one time. Okay. All right. So anyhow, one of the things that I wanted to mention is if you, let's see, let's go back to the book, and they're saying to use Photoshop. Okay. So it's saying here, let's see, let me go back a little bit. They said to open Photoshop 1-1. So I have Photoshop on this machine. I'm going to open it up, and it's in my download area. I could move all that to my desktop, but I'll open this up just so we can have a look at it. Take a few moments for this to take place. And then I just wanted to show you, because sometimes, you know, I can talk all day or type all the stuff out in an email, and sometimes it's just nice to actually see it. Okay, so my Photoshop is opening now. And I'm going to go to File. Let's go do it. I'm not asking the computer to do too much. File, Open. And this is in my download area on this particular computer. And here's chapter 1. And so I think they're having me to open Photoshop 1-1. So I'm going to click here. You can double click then, or just go to the Open button. And there's the file. So then you could go back. I'm going to just hide this for a moment. And then I'll go ahead. So this says click PS 1-1, PSD. And then they're telling you click File on the menu bar, Browse. So there's different things they want you to do and work through. So before you close any of the files, make sure, if they said to save, save, but also you might just save it with the same name, but maybe give it today's date, give it something, so it's obvious that you did something with it. And like I said, these first couple of chapters, there's not a lot going on. They're showing you a lot of things, but not things you can really show me that you did. But if you just make sure you save the file with a slightly different name, that's fine. All right, so once you work through the chapter, and there's several little projects in each chapter, then what you'll want to do is go back then and then take the quiz. This is book level resources, glossary. Now, the interactive quiz is fun. And if you take that, then is what it's going to do. It's going to take and say start the quiz. And then once you work through the whole chapter in Photoshop, you saved all your files in that folder, chapter 1 folder. You'll take the quiz here. Once you finish the quiz, it'll give you your grade, so you can work through it. And then once you've done that, it'll give you a score. Now, I didn't really do anything, so it says scores there, but you would take a screenshot of this information, and you're trying to get at least 70% correct. Okay? And then that screenshot, put it in the folder, in the chapter 1 folder, then zip it and upload it. So when you go back to the original area, let's see, let's go back to, okay, so we were in here, so your Dropbox area is over here, up here at the top, Dropbox like you had before, and so if I come back here and click, this is where you would upload the files. Now, there are some files in here from one version because we have some issues with stuff. Don't worry about any of this here. You'll go ahead and where you will start to upload your files where it says Photoshop Chapter 1. Okay, that's where you would start to upload things. Right? And so every time you finish a chapter, go ahead and upload. Some people like to upload a bunch of them at once. If you'll just upload them as you do it, it makes life easier for both of us, because that's your proof that you're working on the class. And two, when I get 10 of these from one person and several people do that, It really it complicates my day a bit. So it's great when you just turn them in as you do them. Now, if you need the software, what you would do, I'm going to go and see if I can get over here to Adobe. And so if you're an adult and you need the software, go to Adobe's website, and you can get free trials. So I'm going to click here. Now, they have stuff set up for education. Right? So when you get in here, you can see all the different things that you could have a free trial on. Now, for the free trial, 30-day doesn't matter what you do. Just make sure you finish what you're doing in 30 days and you're fine. If you ultimately want to buy a subscription to the whole thing, I'm going to go here where it says choose plan. And if you're a high school student, you might want to work on some of this stuff at home. You could get the free 30-day software too. Now, if you're using CS6 at school, CC at home, would be a little different, not tremendously different, but a little different. But you can see here what they have. They have an area for students and teachers. And so as an adult, or if you're a high school student and you have funds available, for $19.99 a month, you can get all the software. So you might try the 30-day free version, and then if ultimately you want to do this, you can. But that's where you would get that 30-day free version. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to, all right, D2L, Web Development Section 2. We looked at Cengage login, data files, and quiz. We looked at textbook, paper, and digital. The only thing about the digital copy, it works a little differently. So when you're there, we talked about the Photoshop software. Okay, so let's see here. One thing I want to look at with you, let's go here. Okay, if I go into the ebook right here, okay, I've got it open up in too many windows. I've got another version here. Let's see if we can do this. I just want you to be able to see it. I think if you've got it, doesn't matter which you use, the digital book or the paper book. The paper book has those gold bars, and for some reason it doesn't look like the digital one's opening up, and so we may not be able to look at that. But typically, the digital book works the same. Just keep an eye on it. Most likely you have the paper book and the digital, so you might look at the paper book and then see how it corresponds to the digital. I'm just going to close that. I don't want to take any more of your time doing that. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to show you a couple more things. I promise I always try to take half an hour or less in questions. Okay, I don't see any hands. Okay, so let's see what we've looked at. We've looked at where to upload the files, Cengage, okay, there, okay, the book. Oh, okay, I sent you this the other day in an email. I don't know if you saw it or not. There's a lot in the email. I'll try not to put too much stuff, but there was a link for this. Now, this is just a trial, first rough draft of a web app we have for the class. So if you use this, that way if you want to double check something, if you are an adult and you're going to the bookstore to buy the book or whatever, you can click here, part-time adults. I'm going to click on here, and here we go. Here's chapter 1. And the IT core is what you just finished. I'm going to click here. And so these are the next 2 books. Now, if you're using CS6, it will be still Photoshop Revealed, only instead of a CC book, it would be CS6. And for the Design Collection Revealed, it would be the CS6 Design Collection Revealed. Okay? And so you can, if you click here, you can go to the next thing. And after all that, we're going to go to web development. You actually get into actual coding, HTML5, CSS. 3, and then there's something called the web collection. We'll get a little Dreamweaver going in there. So you'll do some coding first and then see how it works in Dreamweaver. Now, if you find something here that doesn't work, it'd still be, like I said, it's a rough draft. I think most of the buttons should work, but just in case. There are a couple links here. If you want to email me from your phone, if you have a smartphone, and you can use this right on your computer. But if you want to email me, this should pop up with your email situation, and you could email me. Now, on my computer, there it goes. Okay? I'm going to close this for now. Okay, the other thing that you've got here is a calendar you can click on. The calendar will show you this year's school calendar. And so today is November 5th. So click on here. Here is November 5th, right there. So if you're out about and somebody says, hey, do you have school this there? You've got a built-in calendar that if you save this, a link to this on your phone, or on your computer, then you have access to this information. You can see next week, Wednesday, a yellow date is a holiday, so you have no school next Wednesday. It's Veterans Day. And then for high school students, we're going to have report cards issued for the last quarter on Thursday. Okay, you can see, then you'll see interim reports due a week later, and then the week after that, Thanksgiving, we have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. Okay, so anyway, let's go back. The other thing you have here, if you want to call me, if you click on the little phone, that will put on your phone, that will put you in position to give me a call if you need my help. Okay, and I believe there I am. All right, I'm on FaceTime and I'm bigger than I need to be. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I sent you this to help you get started. I think everybody probably is beyond this point, but this kind of explains how to get to this area that we just looked at. So we looked at that. And then, let's see, what else do we have? Here's the book list I sent to the adults, but this book list is the same one that's on the little web app. Once again, where you see the old-fashioned picture, that's the CC version of the book. If you're an adult and you're a high school student and you need something about the book and you're using CS6, if the names are the same, it's just a different ISBN. You can see we've got several areas here to work with, and a lot of this is just online, where we're going to use resources so you don't have to buy a book or you don't have to carry a book on you. So there's a lot of items here for the time you're in the class. We have a few books, but not a tremendous amount. Okay, let's see. And I guess that's it. Good, and I'm done. Any final questions? Anybody? Tell you what, come up here, if you will, where the check mark is. If you have a question, say yes. And if you don't have a question, just click on no. Okay, Brandy doesn't have a question. Okay. Bob doesn't have a question, and I know that Tom probably doesn't. Okay, we're done. If you have any questions after all this, I am going to send you this recording. Not that it's anything wonderful, but hopefully it's helpful. And then if you have any questions beyond all this, please give me a call or email me, and I'll help you however I can. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you real soon.